Hello everyone, welcome to another video here at DGD Gaming. Today we're continuing on with our Pokemon VGC Doubles Competitive Series 6 battles. We're going to keep climbing the ladder here. We're still in Great Ball, only done a few battles thus far, but we're continuing climbing and having a lot of fun actually along the way. If you really enjoy this content, please leave a like on the video, consider subscribing, and let me know how you're enjoying Series 6 so far. I'd really like to know. We're continuing on with the team that I built to start off Series 6 with. It's built around this Goodra, Comfey, Lapras core, like we talked about in the last video. If you haven't seen that video, please go check it out. I'll leave a link down in the description below. We have Sylveon, Rotom, and Arcanine kind of building around the support around this team to help kind of cover some things. I'm really enjoying bringing Rotom, and I think we can really kind of use him today. Arcanine is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, so I have to bring him on my team. I think one thing that I'd really like this team to have that it doesn't is probably a fighting type attack. I'm thinking about switching out Iron Tail on the Goodra for a fighting type attack, just to kind of cover for. I've been seeing things like Porygon Z, Snorlax, some of those normal types in particular. To kind of put in some damage against. And especially as this meta also gets a lot bulkier, it's really nice to have, the access to Max Knuckle, boost your attack a little bit, and pitch in that way as well. So we're going to go jump into a couple battles here. I'll see you in just a second. Alright, jumping into our first battle here with our same team. So my opponent also brings a Comfey Lapras endpoint there, which is super interesting, and a couple evolutions as well. Certainly an interesting couple modes. I like so it's pretty obvious, like it's gonna be possibly like a Lapras Leafeon under Trick Room possibly, and then Urshifu and Jolteon when not under Trick Room. I just wonder which one they start off with. I'm thinking about bringing Comfey because it has Trick Room to potentially counter a Trick Room from Dusclops, as well as maybe Goodra to start, and then we go we bring Sylveon on the back for the Urshifu, and maybe Rotom. Yeah. Let's try it. See what happens. I'm really enjoying the diversity of teams that are out here in Series 6. Like seeing Leafeon come out and seeing, even more Comfey. A few other interesting. I saw a Crocodile the other day. Like just some stuff that it's obviously out there, but so they bring Lapras Comfey and we bring Goodra Comfey, which is hilarious. Certainly a bit of a danger for Goodra, given that I foresee so what's going to happen here is Lapras is going to max go ice into me here, so I think we ally switch with the Comfey, and then I'm gonna switch out Goodra into Rotom. I think is the plan. I foresee like a pretty instant max here. Let's see what my opponent actually does. Like if you have a Dragon type in Goodra kind of line up against Lapras, which is gonna want like right away to max here. Uses Ice type attack. After self-activating with the weakness policy. Certainly a bit of a tricky situation. Comfey actually Dazzling Gleams offensively, which is interesting. doesn't do a ton. So they actually targeted the Comfey too with that. So interesting start. Thinking about knowing that that didn't do very much. What can my opponent really do against me there with the Rotom? Not a ton. I'm thinking about trying to just keep it as alive as much as possible. So let's do something like this here. Keep Rotom fresh. And we're going to go actually after the Comfey. Kind of take away its ability to be supportive. That doesn't do a ton at all. There's a Max Lightning into the Rotom. Does more. Sets up terrain though. Yeah, what do we do here? You know, like, obviously I'm not doing a ton of damage. I'm thinking about Nasty Plotting. I don't think I'm in KO range. I think I'm just gonna probably Ally Switch here. Start playing Ally Switch mind games. That's some fair damage onto the Rotom. I'm Comfey. I didn't expect that much damage. Like, that's just that's a decent chunk of damage there onto Rotom from primary support mon. So I'm wondering if they're running like a sneaky offensive Comfey kind of thing, because they haven't Giga Drained into their own Lapras, which I would imagine would be a bit of a priority. So interesting bring. And here comes the Max Geyser. Where is it gonna go? It goes into Rotom, and that's not too much. So we've very effectively stalled out this Max from the Lapras. I think we're in a pretty good spot here. We got Rain, we got Electric Terrain up, we got +2 special attack Rotom. I'm thinking about maxing it, to be honest. And I think we go Floral Healing into the Rotom, and then we go Max Lightning into the Lapras. Let's see how much damage we can pick up this turn now that we've stalled out that max. That was really interesting. I wasn't planning on maxing. You know, I usually like to max with like a Goodra or Lapras with this team. But given the circumstances, we survived pretty well. I'm really impressed with Rotom's ability to kind of tank through that. Plus, maxing also gives us a bit more security there against that Giga Drain that this Comfey's bringing out, which is all offensive. Super interesting. Yeah, as long as we keep the Floral Healings up, I feel like that's a pretty good spot for us. We go Max Lightning into the Lapras, and it almost KOs. There's the weakness policy there. There's the Thunder. It's a Comfey, almost picks up a knockout. I'm wondering if Giga Drain is going to do enough onto this Lapras from Comfey. It's probably not, is the thing. Let's see what happens. This is a test, and I think that onto the Comfey is good. Yep. Giga Drain onto my Comfey, which survives. Let's see if we get it, and we do get the knockout onto the Lapras, which is clutch. Huge. So I didn't have to waste like a max turn on the Lapras there. That's great. And then we get our Max Geyser off here onto the Comfey, and this Comfey goes down. There we go. So we pick up 2 there. Plus we get rid of that other Comfey to compete with my Comfey. And we break through Aurora Veil, which is great. So I think we're in a really good spot here overall. Rotom really did damage there with the Nasty Plot after realizing that it could pretty much survive anything that Lapras threw at us there. I'm a bit surprised that the Lapras didn't consider protecting or anything, but so they bring Leafeon and Urshifu. I think because I brought Gudra, right? And I actually brought Sylveon, so those are actually two great counters for what my opponent bought. I think of the two, Urshifu is probably the more dangerous one. You know, of course I say that, and then you never know what this Leafeon is going to do, especially against Rotom. But I think we just try to put as much damage onto Urshifu as possible here. Urshifu protects, which is fair enough. That was probably their insight as well. But we pick up some healing onto Rotom with Comfey, which is great. There's the Max Geyser into the Urshifu, which is going to go into protect. Let's see how much damage we can get. That's more than I thought, actually. That's pretty good damage, all things considering. And then Leafeon uses Leaf Blade onto Comfey to get the knockout. Fair. Totally fair. So what do I bring here? Thinking Sylveon for the Hyper Voice. Rotom putting some work there, definitely picking up a couple key knockouts. So I think we go Hyper Voice because it's super effective on Urshifu. Urshifu is going to feel a lot of pressure here, and then I think we Thunderbolt for the guaranteed damage, and I think we still target Urshifu. I think Rotom's faster. Yeah, that Urshifu's slow actually. For Rotom to be outspeeding it, I think. Then there's the Leaf Blade into Rotom, picks up the knockout, but we don't really need Rotom anymore. Gets a critical hit. Because actually Gudras are like prime counter here against Leafeon, and that also does some good damage there. So I think we're in a really good spot. Got Sylveon and Gudra here. I'm not sure how much more damage this Leafeon can do against both of these. So I think we just go fire and we Fire Punch. We got two super effective attacks here against this Leafeon. So let's see if they can do anything. And Iron Tails, I didn't foresee the Iron Tail, but Sylveon still tanks it, which is pretty much game over at this point. There's Fire Punch, and down goes Leafeon. So sweet game overall. From my perspective, we survived the Lapras. We carried it with the Rotom. I think that was a great build and great brings on our end. Great reads overall. Yeah, I'm really happy about that game. Played a couple practice games kind of before the stream and got beat both times. Not really trusting the main mode of the team, which is actually like how useful Comfey can be in these games, because I think it, obviously provided so much extra health for Rotom, and it, provided the potential ally switch mind game. It got that like quick kill off of the Lapras there as well. So yeah, I think it was a great bring. I'm usually skeptical about bringing it just because I get scared that it's not going to do anything and my opponent can kind of work around it, but it's actually like a very strong support mon when it's in the right spot. So thanks for watching that one. I'll see you guys in the next battle coming up here in a second. Alright, we're continuing on here with our second battle of the day. Let's see who we match up against with. Fit going up against Marulo. Okay. So looking at like his first three mons definitely strike out as like a Trick Room team. And then there's Amoonguss and Rotom, which is interesting. Okay, in terms of like what we want to be doing here, I'm thinking about bringing Comfey and Rotom early, and then we bring Gudra in the back, and I actually like Arcanine. I mean, for two of them, for the Butterfree and the Amoonguss, but can I get away with not bringing those and bringing something else instead? Maybe I think like just because I haven't really done this yet, is bringing the entire mode of the team, which is Comfey, Goodra, Lapras, and then bringing Rotom in as well. I think that looks okay. Let's see what happens. I'm really just kind of enjoying learning like Series 3, getting to VGC, making some of this content and exploring it with you guys. So thank you so much all for watching. It's really appreciated. So there's the Dusclops and Hatterene. Which I kind of figured was gonna come. Now the key is like obviously I'm thinking Trick Room goes up. Does my opponent think that I think that I'm gonna bring Trick Room up, and do they know that I have Trick Room on Comfey? So the worst thing is I set up Trick Room and then my opponent has already like set up for me here. I think we try to read it. I think like what are the chances it's not, and then I think we're just gonna try to get off a nasty plot here and just see if we can get this here as well. So there's the nasty plot. There's expanding force into Comfey, which does a fair amount of damage. It's obviously a life orb Hatterene. We set Trick Room, and then does this Dusclops also set Trick Room? It does set Trick Room. So good. So we read that read, gave our time on to Rotom to do that. Let's go and kind of want the guaranteed damage onto the hat, I think. Maybe we pick up a para, maybe we don't. I wonder if they're reading this again and thinking what's gonna happen, but I'm glad that we made that read. That's hilarious that we did that. Yeah, I think like probably 80% of the time Trick Room just goes up there, and then 20% of the time somebody's used Comfey or knows kind of the plan around it and won't set up Trick Room knowing that I can set up Trick Room. So it's an interesting mind game there for sure. There's the maxed hat, which I certainly kind of foresaw coming for sure. Some Comfey ally switches here. And Rotom Thunderbolts into the hat. We get good damage off, and we get para, which is sweet. Dusclops Nightshades into Rotom, which is fine. And we get the paralysis there on the hat. So that was a pretty solid turn for us, I think. I think we go again, and I think we just try to get the guaranteed damage, because even if Hatterene attacks, if we get down low enough, it should just kind of KO on its own life orb. And I think I'm going to floral heal the Rotom, because I think it's in a good position now that it's powered up, that I don't want to lose it to like a Nightshade or a max attack too easily. So I'm fine losing Comfey potentially to kind of keep around the offense that we've built up thus far. So it's good damage, gets into the red, it gets the max -1 off into Comfey, which will go down. Sets up terrain. So it's a bit unfortunate knowing that we had both Goodra and Lapras in the back. To lose Comfey, to lose that setup, and then Trick Room comes out. So I think we bring Lapras here. I think like Hatterene's at a position right now where it should I think I still target it with the Rotom just in case we get to that point in the sequence. And then I'm thinking we go resonance into the Dusclops here with the Lapras. Just get the effect up for our team. I think both of my mons are going to be faster than their two mons, so letting Trick Room get up there eventually wasn't ideal. Hatterene max guards, which is fine by me really. Rotom levitates so it doesn't get hit. It only attacks Lapras with like minimal damage. It drops my speed, but we're under Trick Room here, so that's fine. We go into the Dusclops, and man, Dusclops is so beefy. That's ridiculous. And Thunderbolt goes into protect, so maybe would have been better to just target the Dusclops anyway, but that's okay. I think we protect with Rotom because I imagine an expanding forest comes here, and then I think we go and just to get rid of this terrain, and we do that into the Dusclops there. And if Hatterene wants to attack Lapras, that's fine by me because with Life Orb it probably goes down. We've neutralized it pretty well, which is good for us for sure. You know, we only lost one mon during their max. This Dusclops is super beefy, so I'm not sure really the best way to handle it with this team, but so there goes Protect on with Rotom, pairing Dazzling Gleams. So same kind of picture. Picks up a tiny bit of damage. Doesn't knock itself out, which is unfortunate. Actually pain splits with my Lapras. Oh man, this thing's gonna be so super annoying, this Dusclops. Gosh, that's such an annoying thing to be dealing with. I think we go. So like we're still under Trick Room. Hatterene and Dusclops are gonna go before Rotom anyway. Hatterene does any attack, it's gonna KO me. This Dusclops is just such an annoying problem. I guess we have to just go after it, and if it pain splits, it pain splits. That's super bulky, and it's unfortunate that we didn't get to activate Weakness Policy with Comfey. So I don't know. Do I just bring Lapras straight up and then go Comfey into Lapras and then hope Lapras is strong enough and bulky enough to survive all of this, possibly? So there goes Hatterene to Life Orb. You go Max Geyser into the Dusclops. I forgot that Lapras is slower. It was actually a big deal because they can just pain split again. We get the KO on the Dusclops, so perfect. So we're in a good spot here now. We still have our 3, and they're going to bring out 2 fresh ones. We've finished our max turns as well, so now it's kind of neutral versus neutral. Let's see what they bring here. This is very interesting. Yeah, so there's Amoonguss and Butterfree. Okay. So overall, a reasonable spot for us right now. I think it's pretty obvious to go after the Butterfree there. I'm not really sure what it's doing. That's such a fresh mon. I really like that. I think we go Blizzard. Potentially, like, it's super effective on both, and just see if we can get at least to land on one of them. I imagine Amoonguss, possibly Spore into Lapras, or maybe not Spore actually, because that does Spore. Yeah, exactly. Because I was gonna say, because we set up Electric Terrain, so like usually a bit fuzzy about that myself, but like Electric Terrain prevents you from falling asleep, so that's super useful. So we get the knockout straight up on Butterfree, and now it's 3v1. Trick Room ends. So I think we just keep going with the Thunderbolt, just get some guaranteed damage onto the Amoonguss. And I think the Blizzard is still the right call on the Lapras. So what does this Amoonguss have? Probably Spore, Rage Powder, like Protect possibly, so they could protect this turn, but really what does that get you? It stalls out a turn off Electric Terrain, and then maybe you can put my team to sleep one by one. Let's see, so Thunderbolt again from the Rotom. That's good damage. It's not a lot, like it's obviously not very effective, but there's Blizzard onto Amoonguss, and that should knock it out. Bingo, there we go. So two solid matches there. Lapras, I'm really liking Rotom. Like, Rotom actually does a ton of damage. Like, it's obviously neutralized by things like Gastrodon particularly, but it really complements having that like electric attack that's guaranteed damage. Nasty Plot, when you set up, it makes it very potent as well. So yeah, really happy I'm bringing that a lot more often than I was when I was kind of testing it out and everything. No, we're not going to check our team. We're going to stop battling just to show you guys. So we're still here in Great Ball. We're still climbing. We don't really do singles ever. Yeah, I had a couple losses kind of off recording, just playing around. But otherwise, we've gone pretty well with this team. We're just going to keep climbing the tiers here. We're 6-2 with this team. Just a couple, unfortunately, timed losses, really. But yeah, so I think that shows like how potentially good this team is. Thanks guys for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Let me know down below like what you would have done differently within these battles, what teams you're bringing, what you think is Series 6. Really appreciate all of your comments down below. Thanks for watching so much. This has been DigiD, and I'll see you in the next one.